time for the best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
Oh, yes, it does. Thank you, Chad Erickson, and good to have you all with us on this Wednesday edition of the show. We got a lot to do over the next 60 minutes. Wednesdays are one of my favorite days of the week. Why? Because Kurt Helin comes and hangs out with us. Pro basketball talk at NBCSports.com is his jam. We'll chat with him about all things National Basketball Association related, get his thoughts. Sam Yarnell makes a rare Wednesday appearance. He doesn't work Wednesdays. Sam will be with us coming up in about 10 minutes to give us his picks for the NCAA tournament. We'll get some thoughts with him, who he likes, who he doesn't like, run through some of the odds as well with Sam Yarnell coming up in this show. Aaron Rodgers, there is more. Every day there is another leaf that falls from the tree of Aaron Rodgers. We will give you the latest on that coming up. Shohei Ohtani hits his first home run of the Major League Baseball season. Even though nobody saw it, it still counts. We'll get to that coming up as well, but we start things out in college basketball with this guy. There he is, the Vladimir Lewison. Vlad is hanging out with us today. He was with us yesterday as well from WQAM Radio in Miami. My main man, Vlad, is here as well. So I didn't prepare you for this, but I want to kind of, did you do a bracket? Have you done a bracket yet? Mm-hmm. All right. So so make sure to have it somewhat handy because I want your final four.
I already got it.
All right. I'm just. Do you don't have to tell me now? Okay. Let's leave the audience guessing a little bit.
No. I know. We'll wait to the end.
We'll leave the audience guessing for a few minutes. There's also hiring in college basketball already. The March Madness didn't even begin, and there's already been a hiring in the coaching carousel to talk about as well. Couple of first four games last night. One of them was a banger. Wow. What a finish between Alabama State and St. Francis. By the way, that St. Francis should have been Central Connecticut State University. But anyway, we digress. What a finish between these two teams, though. You know, the 16, you said, we were just talking about this off the air. The 16-16 matchup always winds up being better than the 11-11 matchup, and it'll probably be the same thing on Wednesday night with the matchups that we're going to see there. American and Mount St. Mary's playing, and then Texas and Xavier in the 11-11 matchup. But, man, what a finish to this game. I mean, we talk about Hail Marys in football. You wind up with the basketball equivalent of the Hail Mary. Let's see, Christian Laettner, that Hail Mary? Or this one? Or this one?
No, Laettner.
Laettner's always better.
Laettner was what, in the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, I believe?
Yeah.
It might have been, it was Elite 8 against Kentucky, correct?
Against Kentucky.
Yeah, it was Elite 8 in Philadelphia. This was good. This kind of reminded me of the NFL Commanders-Bears game because the ball deflected off the defenders.
17 people.
And it landed right with the guy who's literally right under the basket, and all you got to do is just put the ball off the backboard and in. Great game, crazy. This is what we expect with March Madness. I think this is it's good for CBS and the guys over there at Paramount.
True TV, baby. True TV.
True TV. So, True TV could start saying, hey, these are where all the close and exciting games happen, Watch our channel.
And we get Alabama and Auburn. Oh, wait, never mind. It's Alabama State and Auburn in the 116 matchup. Sorry. I was almost excited. I was almost excited for a second.
No, you're not gonna get that big of an SEC matchup that early.
We just getting those two. I got more to say about this coming up in just a moment, and we'll say it after a word from our friends over at Edge Boost. I am all about trying to up my game. Look, it's March Madness, folks. It's March Madness. The brackets, we're talking about them. You're getting them all set. Well, look. If there was ever a better time to go get yourself the Edge Boost Visa debit card, I don't know when it would be. This is the time to go and get it. Edge Boost. They are the financial platform paying you cash back to wager. Edge Boost is an online bank account that pays you for every deposit. And with the Edge Boost Visa debit card, you're getting up to 0.5% cash back on all your sportsbook, daily fantasy site, and casino transactions. Free money back in your pocket just for doing what you're doing already. This is the no-brainer of no-brainers. Plus, your Edge Boost debit card starts with a $250,000 daily limit, and it'll never be declined for gambling activity. They've got built-in tools to help you stay responsible, and there's absolutely no hidden fees or minimum required balances. So stop leaving money on the table this March Madness. Visit edgeboost.bet to learn more and sign up today and use my promo code WRAP, W-R-A-P, when you go to sign up and get yourself a free account upgrade. That's promo code WRAP, W-R-A-P, with our friends from Edge Boost. Just scan that QR code below. So for every Alabama State and St. Francis, we get ourselves a North Carolina and San Diego State. That's all I got for you. That's it. Good night. Good night, everybody.
Well,
I'm gone. Bye-bye.
Look.
You can take a drink.
Carolina was a highly ranked team when the season started. They played a tough schedule, and against the tough schedule, they lost against these quality opponents. A lot of teams that are in the tournament now. But they were playing very well towards the end of the season, and we always know, when they do that, who's in, who's out, who's playing well. I think them getting to the semifinals and almost beating Duke, by the way, even though they didn't have Cooper Flag, I think the tourney committee decided that Carolina is a tournament team, or at least a playing team. And they showed out last night against San Diego State. I think right now they have a chance of beating Ole Miss in the first round.
Yeah.
So if Carolina gets to the second round or Carolina gets to the Sweet 16, the tournament committee won't look bad in picking them.
All right, we got 90 seconds left. Give me your final four.
The Johnnies, Michigan State, Duke, Houston. Duke, Michigan State. Michigan State cuts down the nets in April.
You got a soft spot for the Johnnies, don't you?
I got a soft spot for all the Paisans.
Why? You couldn't be the first. You're the furthest thing from a Paisan.
They just a lot of shade. No, listen, I'm a big. I'm just a big Tom Izzo and Rick Pitino fan, and I think they get their teams ready for the tournament. The fact, this is my thing real quickly about Tom Izzo. Izzo's going to get his team ready towards the end of the tournament. Towards the end of the season, if he's up and down. But if his team has been consistently good and they get towards March, they're going to be a great team in the tournament. And Pitino's story, it's homerism, man. Come on, the Johnnies are a 2 seed. And
and by the way, they earned that 2 seed.
And they earned that 2 seed.
They absolutely earned that 2 seed. There are no questions about that. They have earned that seeding. All right. I'm going to put my picks out later. I haven't even done a bracket yet. I'm not going to lie. I won't lie to the audience. I haven't done a bracket yet. I've been too busy. I'll sit down with it today. We'll put it out on YouTube, and people can watch it there. Decibel 88. We're coming back. Sam Yarnell next. Good to have you with us on Sports Wrap on this Wednesday edition of the show. We got a rare treat on a Wednesday. Sam Yarnell is here from an undisclosed location. We don't want the books to go get him. Scoop him up off the street. Sam said he wanted to come on the show today because the NCAA tournament is kicking into gear. On Thursday, we already had the first four, which we talked about in the opening segment of the show. But Sam wanted to give his picks. He wanted to get it on the record before the tournament started on Thursday. You're back on tomorrow, though, right? You're doing the But by the time most people see the Thursday show, the games will have already started. So we decided let's get him on the air today for a couple of minutes from a very sunny, warmer than where I am, probably undisclosed location. All right, Sam. So let's talk about the way this tournament shapes up right now, and obviously Duke is the favorite. It's amazing. Duke is the four favorites in this thing. Duke at 290, Florida at 350, Auburn at 550, and Houston at 6-1. Last year, the favorite was UConn. They were plus 1,100. So it just goes to show you how much more confidence there is in the top seeds in this year's tournament as opposed to what we had last year.
And what's so funny, Jason, is when I think back onto last year's tournament and as I was doing my research, making my bracket, all the process that we're all so familiar with during the mid-March post-championship week couple of days, it really came to me. I was like, wow, last tournament, it really was a ton of chalk. There was chalk left and right in the tournament. And we really, besides NC State obviously making the Final Four off of their conference tournament championship run, right? Outside of that, there wasn't a true Cinderella. And quite frankly, the odds are speaking to it. I think there's another level of expectation that that will be the case again this year.
So, with that said, give me some thoughts on sort of where you're, putting your money when you look at this tournament. Give me some ideas here.
So I'll just tell you like my general principles when I went into it. Just one of the underdogs, or I guess Cinderellas, you could say, this time of year that I've chosen is High Point University, and it's a principal play. I think that this season in college basketball, think about the conference that's been obviously the most dominant, far and away. It really hasn't been close. It's the SEC. SEC basketball this year is just a different beast. And what is so good about the SEC basketball conference? They play outstanding offense across the board, top to bottom, the entire conference. They can all run you 100 points a game, basically no problem. I look to High Point to try and be one of these Cinderella stories because, one, they've got a relatively easy path. I think McNeese will beat Clemson, so you'll have McNeese High Point in the round of 32. And High Point has a fast, high-flying, like top 20 in the nation offense. This is a team that can score points, and I think they can score points with the best of them. So the High Point University is a team that I've chosen. I believe I have them on to the Sweet 16, or obviously the Sweet 16, potentially the Elite Eight, Jason. I really do like High Point this year, but guess what? When it comes down to it, I went all SEC in my Final Four, Jason Page. I think this conference this year is it's truly built different when it comes to basketball. And it's so funny because it's a conference over the course of the past decade we've really written off to favor the Duke UNC led ACC. But really, the SEC is back with a force this year, and I think they're going to win it all.
I got more for Sam coming up in just a moment. After a word from our friends over at Credit Associates, are you $10,000 or more in credit card debt? In over your head trying to make monthly payments? Well, there's a powerful debt relief program the credit card companies don't want you to know about. Overcome the debt trap of multiple credit cards, high payments, and high interest rates that keep you in debt for decades with one affordable low monthly payment. Credit Associates debt relief program can help you resolve your debt in as little as 24 to 36 months, and that will save you thousands of dollars and decades in debt. Just imagine what you could do with those thousands of dollars. Find out how much you could save right now by calling 1-800-747-5362. That's 1-800-747-5362, or just scan the QR code below. What do you think of UConn?
Have you saw the Hurley documentary that ESPN's been putting out,
Yeah.
right? I assume you have.
I have.
So I've caught glimpses of it, and I will say it did change my opinion on UConn's team this year. I don't think that they're a real contender to win it all. I think that their ceiling is a Final Four appearance, but realistically, I think they should be more expectant of round of 32 Sweet 16 kind of exit. They'll be very fortunate to see the second weekend, in my opinion. I don't know. This team this year just clearly doesn't have the mojo. I don't know, the aura. There's something missing. There's something palpable missing. You can see when they play basketball because it's there at times, but it's just not always there when it matters, Jason. I really just cannot consider them a real contender for the national championship.
By the way,
this year.
you mentioned Purdue. Purdue has played like dog crap going into this
Horrible.
tournament. Oh, they have been terrible. I think they've lost like 7 of 8, something like that. I mean, they've been playing terrible basketball going into this tournament. So I do think they are ripe for an upset. Every year I give you Yale when Yale's in the tournament. I will do it again this year. Watch them against Texas A&M. Yale playing good basketball right now.
So I actually, weirdly enough, did some research into this Yale team. They are the perfect March Madness team, Jason Page. They are a team that plays quintessential March Madness basketball. Doesn't matter who's doing the work. Someone's going to do the work, and we're going to keep feeding that guy. It's great team ball. I love Yale this year. I think they have a chance to see a potential Sweet 16 in a second weekend.
Yeah, I love James Jones and the job he has done there over the years. Yale, by the way, to reach the Sweet 16, plus 920. That's got some juice to it. That feels value-y to me.
100%.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you there. Also, just peeking across the odds board, we were talking about the dominance of the SEC earlier. I mean, folks, you saw it all season long, literally from the invitationals in Maui all the way through the end of the season in the SEC tournament. Did you see what a banger that SEC final was? You can get the SEC to be the winning conference of this tournament at plus money right now on some houses. I highly recommend just placing a wager, a responsible wager on that. That is my best play that I can give you for this tournament.
There you go. And by the way, UConn to reach the Sweet 16 is plus 630. Dom Amore thinks they got a shot against Florida. We'll see. It's what they're getting if they get by Oklahoma. Sam, enjoy the sun. We'll see you back here tomorrow. We're coming back. And this Wednesday edition of SportsWrap rolls on. Let's talk some NBA. Because if it's a Wednesday, it's Meet Kurt Helin. There he is. Instead of Meet the Press, it's Meet Kurt Helin. Yeah, we do need to give him a round of applause. He's been a trooper all season long on this show.
I hope to last longer than Chuck Todd for you.
I don't know, man. Chuck Todd lasted a while. Chuck's
last a while.
By the way,
actually,
Chuck is a friend of the show. I got to get him on before. Maybe next week we'll get Chuck on. He says that he'll come on anytime. He's got nothing to do now anyway, since he's
he's beat up. He's all good. Yeah,
he is, and trust me, he's doing just fine. Whatever it is he's doing after all those Meet the Press paychecks. All right, so let's talk about Stephen Curry. You know that he has a couple of rough games. Warriors lose a couple of games, and you've got Steve Kerr out there. Is he just trying to protect him a little bit from a couple of bad performances, or is this him being tired and all this stuff and needing rest? Is this real?
I think it's real. I mean, just Curry is asked to do a lot with this team. They are 14-2 now with Jimmy Butler. Mm-hmm. They're winning games, but Butler hasn't been this great offensive force. He gives them a threat, but he hasn't really been putting up numbers. It's been Curry who's been putting up the numbers and carrying this team. Jonathan Kuminga comes in and looks like he hasn't played in a while. They've got some stuff to figure out there. And the problem they're in is they're right in the thick of it. For them to hold on to the 6th seed with Minnesota breathing down their neck, the Clippers who are going out and beating teams and looking good again, and Kawhi's back, like they can't afford to have nights off and rest him, but you don't want to wear him down going into the playoffs. So it's a tough spot for Steve Kerr. I legitimately think he's tired. He's had to carry a heck of a load all season.
I feel like it was just more of the excitement that they got, the team got when Jimmy was traded to them, and it's finally wearing off. It's you've had him for over a month now. You've played over 16 games, so you kind of get to know each other. And he just turned 37 on Saturday, this past Saturday. Yeah, he's old. He's tired. That's it. I mean, the Warriors had 3 seasons so far this year. They had the great start, the terrible middle, and then now they're streaking towards the end. I just think he's tired, but they're limited. They're still limited as a team.
They are. Look, I don't think they have the depth to go as deep as they want to in the playoffs, but I will give them this. They're playing really good defense. And Draymond Green is legitimately top 3 defensive player of the year right now. He was all over Giannis Antetokounmpo in that win the other night. Covered him for 7 minutes and 4 seconds and held Giannis to 0 of 6 shooting on the night. On a night Giannis had like 20 points and just wasn't himself. A lot of that credit can go to Draymond. When they're defending like that, that's what we always skip over with the Warriors championship teams, man. Yeah, they had Clay and they had Steph at his peak and obviously KD for a part of that. That was a very good defensive team through that whole stretch, and they are back closer to that than they've been.
Give me a thought on the Lakers here without LeBron. They're 2-3. I thought they'd be lucky to win 2 games, without him during this stretch, and they've got 2 wins so far here. They get the Nuggets again on Wednesday night. Yeah, they get the Nuggets again here on Wednesday night. Give me some thoughts on what you've seen with the Lakers minus LeBron. I made the argument last week that you find out how valuable he is during times like this. We take it for granted during the regular season, just watching him on a night in, night out basis, and we'll fawn and guffaw at things he does. But then we kind of forget about how good he is until you miss him for stretches like this, and you just see how much this team struggles without him.
He's their glue. As much as Austin Reeves has stepped up and had nice games, and obviously Luka and found his footing again. And boy, he's got the teams he likes to take it out on, doesn't he? When he goes up against teams he doesn't like, it's like a whole nother level.
He sees Devin Booker, he goes crazy.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Devin Booker, Minnesota, anybody that's bothered, the Clippers still, like he still goes at the Clippers. Like just like that said. Where they miss him is on the defensive end. LeBron is the glue that holds that defense together, and they are just not the same on that end. He's really the glue for the whole team. He gives them a secondary shot creator. He gives them another elite passer on offense. But Luka taking on that offensive load has allowed LeBron to be more focused on defense, and that's the end where you see it, where they don't have – look, LeBron protects the rim, is physical defensively, is just smart defensively, and always in the right position. And Jackson Hayes is not that guy. So as good as he gets up and as athletic as he is, they don't have that on the defensive end, and they need him back to reach that level. You are spot on, though, Jason. You don't realize how many little things he does right until you watch them without him for a while.
Real quick, is there a sense for when he's coming back, or are they going to baby this? I hope they do.
No, he's coming back soon.
Well, yeah, they're going to baby this, but they can't afford to go too long without him either. So, and plus LeBron hates not playing, man. To his credit, the guy's out there.
Yeah, you got to protect him from himself, though, Kurt.
Wait a minute. Hold on. First of all, I think the more important person they need to worry about coming back is Rui Hachimura, because he's the guy that's going to have to play a lot of 5 in the playoff. So they need to make sure he's healthy, because when he was healthy, that team was a complete team to me. Because he can also shoot the ball, and he's very good at mismatches. So I think if Rui comes back before LeBron, then I think LeBron takes as much time as he needs. You can't, like Kurt just said, you really can't hold them back, because they had a 4-game losing streak. That 4-game losing streak had them go from 2nd in the West to 5th. So you really can't, monitor his health if they need him to come back and win these games and not fall out of the top 4.
Got a minute, Kurt. Go ahead.
I was about to say, the thing with LeBron, you've got to remember the power structure there is, if LeBron wants to play, they're going to have to convince him to tell himself not to play, right? JJ Redick and the medical staff have to convince LeBron it's in his best interest not to play, because he is the guy with the power in the organization. And if he's not going to put himself in danger, but if he thinks he can play, he's going to want to be out there. And you're right. They need him at 110% for the playoffs to make a run in this thing, to be where they want to be. And he's got to be right for that.
Yeah, I agree with that. What do you make, real quick, in the final 20 seconds here in this segment, as the clock is running down on us in this segment? What do you make of the way JJ Redick has handled this absence and the way he's sort of coached this team?
I think he's put them in much better position. Let me go for the quick Obi Toppin from the corner game winner. He's been fantastic as connecting with the players and getting them into positions and putting them in good spots. It's certainly not been perfect. It's certainly not been smooth. But for a first-year coach, I think handling the ups and downs of the zoo of that organization, right, he's handled it as well as he could.
We got more with Kurt on the other side. Don't go anywhere. All right, Sports Wrap continues. So does the conversation around the NBA with Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Vlad is with us as well. Vlad, you're bouncing. You all right over there?
Yeah.
You're not on like that Tracy Morgan thing going on, right?
No.
All right.
Food poisoning. Food poisoning, ladies and gentlemen. Food poisoning.
Food poisoning, sure. No, I think it was just watching the Miami Heat right now that might have gotten him that sick.
No, it's absolutely true.
Vlad, what is going on with the Heat? I mean, it didn't just like the wheels fall off. This is like Buster Keaton movie, silent movie, whole car falls apart moment.
Wow, when you hear Buster Keaton, that's a name I haven't heard in a minute. It's that Heat culture thing stays passe, but I don't think these kids today want to be a part of it or want to hear it. And here's the second thing. They're not talented. Tyler Hero's a good player. Bam Adebayo's a good player, but they're not superstars. And when you let Jimmy go, you lost your superstar. But even if you had Jimmy, you would still be in the same situation. 3 years in a row now, you're basically playing for a play-in. And yes, that first year in 23? They got to the NBA Finals against Denver. That was great, but it doesn't mean you have to do it every year. And it's getting tiring. I don't know I don't want to say the game passed by Pat Riley. I don't think so, but he might have to adjust some of his ways in order for them to be more competitive. You can't go after. They're trying to go after a big whale. Kevin Durant is not that big whale. I'm sorry, he's not. Not right now. Not at his age. He's still a great player. He's more of a complimentary player, like a second guy than being a man. And that's crazy to say about Kevin Durant, who still drops 27 points. But a team like Miami cannot go after an old superstar like Kevin Durant. They might have to go after a young guy like Zion, maybe turn Zion, say that, maybe Heat culture can turn Zion, because if Heat culture could turn Zion, then I think a lot of people would start coming back and want to play in Miami.
A lot of good restaurants in South Beach. That's all I'm going to say. A lot of good restaurants in South Beach.
Not only that, a lot of good strip clubs as well.
Oh, Jesus. Hawks, Magic, Bulls, Heat. Let's assume that's going to be the play-in, right? Because there's enough distance between the Pistons and Hawks, enough distance between the Raptors and Heat. So it looks like that's your 7 through 10 as of right now. Who are the two teams coming out of there, Kurt? Ooh, I got you. I got him.
Orlando. I like Orlando. Paolo Banchero. Look, they still they really miss Jalen Suggs. Like, that hurts them. But Banchero and Franz Wagner can get you enough offense to win against the rest of those guys and come out of it. And for that second one, I guess I'll take the Hawks because I like everybody else less. Like, Miami's a mess. Everybody else is a mess.
Miami can't win 2 games in the play-in.
No, so I will take Atlanta just because Trae Young can have a good game. And by the way, they've got some guys, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson. Like, they've got some guys they can step up for a game and get that number 1 seed and go get smoked by Cleveland, or the number 8 seed, I should say, and get smoked by Cleveland.
By the way, Cleveland's lost 2 in a row, 56-12. They'd have to win out in order to win 70 games. That's not likely to happen. Hey, give me a thought on the Knicks. 3-2 without Brunson. And I thought they'd be able to tread water at the very least without Brunson, because this team has that next man up mentality. So I'm not shocked. What are we hearing in terms of a timetable for Jalen Brunson to get back with this team?
Because they can keep their head above water, and they're really not in danger of falling out of the 3 seed unless they collapse.
Oh, they're locked in.
Yeah, they're pretty much locked in. So they can take their time with this. And the other thing that's been going on with them, with Brunson out of the lineup, their defense looks better. Much better. You
got to give Paige credit here, Kurt. He did want to see when Mitchell Robinson come back to join the team how much better the defense would be. And since his arrival, they've been second in the league in defense.
But I think part of that is, as much as I think, because you haven't had peak Mitchell Robinson yet, but playing him next to Cat and not having Cat as your primary drop back defender helps a lot, because that's not what Cat's not as bad a defender as his rep, but that's not what he can do. He is not a drop back, anchor the defense guy. And their other weakness, and we've talked about it here, having Brunson and Cat, and look, at the end of the game, I'm just going to put them in pick and rolls and make those guys defend me. Well, now one of those guys is gone, and I can hide Cat a little better, and it just makes their defense good enough to keep. They're not better without Brunson. I don't want to go there, but it can keep their head above water and keep them in that 3 seed until they get to the playoffs.
If the Hawks
Memphis.
get it, well, no, go ahead, Vlad. I can.
Jason.
Yeah, go back.
Memphis,
Go ahead.
In Memphis, Kurt, their story. What's going on with John Morant? Like, he's banged up. He has a hamstring injury. I don't know. Like we said in this close 2 to 5 seeding race, and Jaren Jackson's coming back from an ankle injury, and I feel like, damn, they made him play back-to-back games coming off an ankle injury. What is going on with Memphis, and what's the timetable for John Morant to return? And
got a minute left. Go ahead, Kirk.
I don't quite know off the top of my head. I don't think it's that long before he comes back, but that's a team that just doesn't feel like it has a margin for error, right? Like, they've got potential and they've lived up to it for a lot of the season, and Jaren Jackson Jr. should get more Defensive Player of the Year credit than he's been getting maybe. That said, they've kind of got to nail everything. Everything's got to be clicking for them. Their depth isn't bad, but it isn't quite where we thought it would be. And they have to have Ja there to create, really, for this thing to work right.
Kurt wants everybody to win Defensive Player of the Year. Draymond Green's winning Defensive Player of the Year. Jaren Jackson's winning Everybody gets Defensive Player of the Year.
But no, people have been playing good defense.
And I'm going to vote for Evan Mobley. So, yeah, it's...
Somebody's going to make the playoffs make this play in the West. Mavericks, Suns, Blazers. Even the Spurs are still in it. Only out a few games. We got to go.
The Suns get that 10 seed just because they actually, they're going to try.
Yeah.
Which puts them ahead of everybody else.
We got to go, Kurt. I'll see you later. Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of Sports Wrap. Odds and Ends wraps it up in about 10 minutes. Everything we wanted to get to, but just ran out of time. All right, Vladimir Louisant. Something to consider.
What's that?
People are getting tired of Aaron Rodgers. And look, it was so predictable. When the story came out that Aaron Rodgers was going to take his sweet old time and wait until after the draft to make a decision as to where he wanted to play football. I thought it was inevitable that we'd get to this point. I didn't think it happened quite this fast, but you've already got comments coming out of the Steelers organization with Cam Hayward. You've already got comments now, not more than comments. You've got the Vikings saying, we're out, peace out. You know, it's like Shark Tank. I'm out. The Vikings have said they're out when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. And look, I will keep saying this, and people will keep disagreeing with me. If I were him, I'd just wait it out now. Because now what's your only option? The Giants? The Browns? I mean, that's Steelers. Essentially it. I wonder. Steelers signed Mason Rudolph yesterday, by the way. And I know, and look, you could sit there and scoff and say all this stuff. Mason Rudolph knows that team. He knows that system. He understands what's going on there. I'm just saying. And Cam Hayward even came out and said it yesterday. Again, what's Cam Hayward? No, he's a defensive player. But Cam Hayward's out there saying, hey, we're confident in Mason Rudolph. And it may just be that they go back to Russell Wilson. They might just go back to Russell Wilson. I never thought Aaron Rodgers was a good fit for the Steelers, given the fact that this is Mike Tomlin's team. It was never going to be Aaron Rodgers' team. And wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, he takes over the narrative. And I don't think Mike Tomlin and the Steelers were ever going to allow for that.
And he wasn't. I don't think he would be able to. He's going into a storied franchise with his, storied reputation. So his I don't want to say his shenanigans or his antics, but his ways would not be tolerated over there in Pittsburgh. See, my team. I'm a Jets fan, folks. So we've like I said, we've never had. It's like the best comparison I can say. It's like dating someone who's an 8, 9, or a 10. The Jets have never had an 8, 9, or 10 since Joe Willie.
Yeah.
So because she's coming through now, or he for everybody, since this person's coming through, you're going to allow them to get away with anything because you've never had this like this. You've never had this before. And the Jets allowed Aaron to do everything, and it backfired.
Yeah.
No other team's going to allow that to happen. You're not going to able to bring Allen Lazard. Devontae's at the Rams. You're not going to. Randall Cobb is retired. Like, you can't bring your guys. You know what I mean? Bakatari, no, you can't bring those guys. You got to work within our system. I think with the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, the respect, and admiration that everybody has for him, including Aaron Rodgers, I think he would be more so. I think he would try to fit in with that system, and that's why I think he still might go to Pittsburgh. Because here's the thing with Russell Wilson, Jason, they really wanted Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Report they were about to offer him 2 years, $40 million, 30 guaranteed, but he must have not liked the way they, replaced him with Russell last season. He didn't want to go through that again, so he decided to come to New York. The Giants, they could have signed you already, but the Giants haven't.
Yeah,
so therefore,
I think I'll also say I think there's another component to this. I want to get to it coming up here in just a second, and I will after a word from our friends over at Credit Associates. It's that time of the year. You $10,000 or more in credit card debt right now. It's tax season. You're looking at the credit card debt. It's a disaster. Well, guess what? If you're $10,000 or more in credit card debt, I have a solution for you. If you're in over your head trying to make monthly payments, I have a solution for you. A powerful debt relief program the credit card companies don't want you to know about. Overcome the debt trap of multiple credit cards, high payments, and high interest rates that keep you in debt for decades. You can do it with one affordable low monthly payment. Credit Associates Debt Relief Program can help you resolve your debt in as little as 24 to 36 months, saving you thousands of dollars and decades in debt. Find out how much you could save right now. Call 1-800-747-5362. That's 1-800-747-5362, or just scan the QR code below. I have a theory a little bit that I want to float to you on the Aaron Rodgers thing, as to why he's waiting. And a lot of people will say, well, it's ego and he wants to be in the spotlight, all that. I don't think it's that. I think he wants to see where these quarterbacks fall in the draft and who he could potentially be mentoring. Because he may not want to mentor Shedeur Sanders. He may not want to mentor Cam Ward. He may not want to mentor Jackson Dart. He just might not want to be in that situation. Because remember, he was that guy when Brett Favre came into the league, and Brett Favre was the quarterback. And then he was that guy on the other end of it when Jordan Love came into the league. He may not want to be in that situation. That might have something to do with why he's waiting until after the draft. I'm not saying he's right or wrong in doing it. I'm just saying that could be one explanation, Vlad.
It could, but there's a difference in these quarterbacks that you're mentioning. If Cam Ward is the number one pick, Cam Ward start from day one. Shedeur Sanders is picked in the top 6 or 7. I think he's starting day one. Remember, Rodgers was drafted, 22nd? By the Green Bay Packers? Yeah. That means you could sit and wait a little bit. Jordan Love, same thing. You could sit and wait a little bit. If you drafted a quarterback late in the first round, those are the guys that may start halfway through the season or may sit a year, depending on who the previous quarterback is. Aaron's another thing. Remember, Aaron, like I said, with the situation with the Jets, Aaron doesn't know any offense but the offense he wants to run. So, therefore, I would think any new team, he's going to have to learn the new system and learn the plays. It can't just be the Aaron Rodgers plays.
By the way, you mentioned, the 7 or the 8 or the 9 or the 10 that the Jets got. He ain't an 8, 9, or a 10 anymore. I got news for you. You can put all the makeup in the world on him. He still ain't going to be 8 or 9 or a 10.
He'll be lucky to be a strong 6 right now.
Odds and ends are next. Just about time to put the wraps on this baby for a Wednesday. Sam returns tomorrow. David Aardsma likely to be here to talk some baseball with us, as he is every Thursday on the show. All sorts of fun and frivolity. And then I'm heading to the Bay Area. We'll have a show on Friday. It just won't be the normal show because I'll be going off to San Francisco on Thursday for 4 days of much needed. Well, we got to go handle some business up there, but it is some much needed R&R as we get ready for the start of baseball season and with the NCAA tournament getting underway, back with a regular show on Monday. If you have not done so yet, make sure to subscribe to the Sports Wrap with Jason Page podcast, available on all your favorite podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Odyssey, Amazon, you name it, any place you get a podcast. You get a podcast. You get a podcast. Everybody gets a podcast. So go and check it out wherever you get your podcast. You can also watch the show every day on YouTube. We put the show there, as well as on Spotify. You can watch the show in addition to over 200 affiliates around the country and even more in Canada. Without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, time for some odds and ends presented by our friends at Edge Boost. I'm all about trying to find ways to take my sports betting game to the next level. I want to help you do the same, and that's why I'm pumped to tell you about Edge Boost. It's March Madness. This is the time. The financial platform at Edge Boost is paying you cash back to wager. Edge Boost is an online bank account that pays you for every deposit. And with the Edge Boost Visa debit card, you're getting up to 0.5% cash back on all your sportsbook, daily fantasy site, and casino transactions. Free money back in your pocket just for doing what you're doing already. It's a no-brainer. Plus, your Edge Boost debit card starts with a $250,000 daily limit, and it'll never be declined for gambling activity. They've got built-in tools to help you stay responsible, and there's absolutely no hidden fees or minimum required balances. So stop leaving money on the table. Visit edgeboost.bet to learn more and sign up today. Edgeboost.bet, or just scan the QR code right there. And when you have a promo code to put in, use mine. It's WRAP, W-R-A-P. That's WRAP, W-R-A-P. You use that promo code, you get an upgrade to your account for free. All right, odds and ends. Vladimir Lewisant. The end for a baseball. That baseball had a family. Shohei Ohtani hit a home run for the Dodgers in a 6-3 win in Tokyo.
Japan.
Yep, in Tokyo against the Cubs. 6-3 was the final. Roki Sasaki was not great. He went 3 innings, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts, gave up a run, but it was enough. And again, these are like glorified spring training games where you got starters going 3 innings. Sasaki threw 56 pitches. You had the Cubs starter going 4 innings, gave up 5 earned runs. He throws 67 pitches. This is not real baseball. This is not real regular season baseball that we are exporting to Japan for this series. Still, that being said, the Dodgers are 0-2. The Dodgers are 2-0. The Cubs are 0-2. And we're underway with the Major League Baseball season. And now we'll take a break for a week, and then we'll come back and do it again.
Nasty. Just nasty work. I'm sorry. They got to figure it out. I'm sorry, Rob Manfred. It's like, how you going to have them play 2 meaningless games that actually count and then have them fly back to Arizona?
Yep. Back to spring training for a few days.
Yeah, like they really going to care. You know, but because you crack yourself up when the regular season begins. And then you just did it. It's a big affair. It's a big event in Japan. Your MVP's going back home to his home country. You're up right now. You're in regular season mode. Guess what? I got to get back to spring training.
Yep. Tommy Edman and Enrique Hernandez. Kiki with home runs in the win for the Dodgers. What else we want to do here? How about tennis, anyone? This one is not a surprise. This has been brewing and bubbling for a while now. This Players Association, basically, you know, it's sort of unionized when you talk about tennis. Well, they are filing a lawsuit in federal court that could really disrupt what's going on in the tennis world right now. I texted Patrick McEnroe about it yesterday. I haven't heard back from him. I'm curious to get his thoughts. You've got 163 pages of allegations and complaints from tennis talking about the distribution of prize money, playing of the schedule that's set by the various tennis tours. Keep an eye on this. Look, when the Live Golf thing happened, I said it wasn't going to be long before you had tennis being disrupted by something similar. I don't know how all this shakes out long term. The majors and the Grand Slams will always be the Grand Slams, but there are changes coming to tennis, whether it likes it or not, because the players ultimately control what happens here. And at some point, there's going to have to be changes in the way things happen with tennis. One more before we go. Darren DeVries is the new head coach at Indiana. He was the head coach at West Virginia. Mike Woodson was obviously done at the end of the season. Yep, for the Hoosiers. And now you got Darren DeVries leaving West Virginia to go and coach at Indiana.
I don't blame him. I would leave West Virginia too, not because of the university, but if your governor is going to sue because you didn't get involved, get selected for the NCAA, I think that's sweet sauce to me. You know what I mean? That's whack. He's reeking of whack juice right there. Yeah. So, good for him. Good eye by Indiana. We all knew Mike Woodson was stepping down for pretty much, I think it's been 2 months now. So, this is something that they probably were looking to get settled very quickly, and good luck to them in the Hoosier State, because they love basketball in Indiana.
Yeah, they are starved for a winner at Indiana. It is so tough there, and it is a hungry fan base, sometimes an unrealistic fan base. It's going to wrap it up for us today. Hey, Vlad, it was fun, my man. We'll see you back here next week.
Later, bro. Have fun in the Bay.
Thanks to Kurt Helin. Thanks to Sam Yarnell. Thanks to you for watching. I'm Jason Page. We'll see you back here for a Thursday Sports Wrap.